What if the code that shapes your Netflix queue, your Uber route, and even your Tinder matches started out as a way to track German fighter planes? This is the story of how a mathematical weapon from World War II quietly took over your daily life. It's July 1940, and Britain has got a problem. RAF radar stations are buzzing with activity as wave after wave of German fighter planes pop up on their screens. Each blip on the radar is a potential threat, but the blips are piling up faster than operators can process them. It's a classic bottleneck. Too many signals, not enough people to handle them in time. Missing even one could mean disaster. Luckily for them, a solution had already been worked out decades earlier by a Danish engineer named Agner Erlang. Back in the early 1900s, Erlang was trying to figure out how to keep telephone systems running smoothly. The challenge was to have just the right number of operators. If you had too few, callers would get a busy signal and hang up frustrated. If you had too many, you'd be paying people to sit around doing nothing. Erlang's genius was turning this messy situation into something he could calculate with a neat bit of probability. Basically, a way to predict how long any line will get if you know how fast customers arrive and how fast operators serve them. British scientists dusted off Erlang's formula, swapped out phone calls for enemy planes, and boom, the radar data snapped into order. RAF Fighter Command could see which targets mattered the most, which ones could wait, and Britain defends her airspace and wins a decisive battle. Peace arrives, babies boom, and America invents the supermarket. Thousands of products, but just a few checkout lines. Retailers reach for Erlang's wartime equations, hoping math alone will shorten lines, but shoppers still find the wait unbearable. Then emerges a crucial insight. Waiting isn't measured in minutes, but in perception. Researchers discover that we judge our waiting time not by how long we actually stand in line, but by how busy or entertained we feel during the wait. Theme parks transformed waiting into a calculated art. Their tests show something remarkable. When you're entertained, your perception of time shrinks by nearly half. Airports quickly adopted this idea, turning empty halls into bustling shopping promenades, restaurants and cafes. Each store window you pass shrinks your perceived wait, making delays less frustrating and more profitable. But all rely on the same basic principle. It's not the wait itself that matters, but how that wait feels. But what if, businesses wondered, we could use Erlang's formula not just to manage waiting lines, but to make them disappear entirely? In 1987, an engineer in Texas embedded a radio chip into a plastic coaster pager. And suddenly, you didn't have to stand still to wait. The physical lineup had become virtual. Airlines adopted this invisible queuing method, layering boarding groups digitally. Online ticket sellers took Erlang's original formula, designed to sort and prioritize, and turned it into an unseen waiting room, where your position is managed by hidden probabilities, making queues invisible, but far from gone. Now businesses didn't even need physical space, just bandwidth. Erlang's formula, meant to organize chaotic telephone lines, now quietly stacked millions of us into digital queues simultaneously. Every login, purchase or play button you press drops you into a lineup built on the same math that once sorted radar blips. Each invisible wait still following the logic he established. Managing flow, predicting bottlenecks, and prioritizing attention. Today, you're likely in multiple lines before breakfast. Some you're aware of, many you're not. You wake up already queued, your emails awaiting replies, packages are en route, software updates silently download overnight, and even your rideshare arrival depends on invisible algorithms determining your place in a virtual line. But a line you can't see can still tug on one's mind. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished tasks that haunt one's mental periphery. Each invisible line opens a mental tab that won't close until you check your place in the queue. Again, studies show those micro-checks spark the same dopamine pathways triggered by slot machines, tiny cycles of tension and relief that keep you coming back for just one quick look. And the moment a queue can be predicted, it can be priced. Companies realized Erlang's math doesn't just order people, it grades their patience. Researchers now track queue markets, the way airlines study seat upgrades. One MIT study found users paid up to 28% extra just to watch their progress bar speed up. Waiting has morphed from nuisance into a tradable commodity. Disney has tacked a premium lightning lane onto its queue lines. Ticketmaster sells micro jumps in its online waiting room. Amazon Prime skips you to the front of the delivery line. And yes, even your Tinder profile can be augmented with gold, platinum, and select plans, offering boosts and priority likes. But every fast lane creates a slow lane. And these systems quietly build a hidden social divide. Those who can afford to skip the line and those forced to wait. The result is a subtle two-tier society. Waiting is no longer a shared inconvenience. Mercifully, there seems to be a growing pushback in the form of digital minimalism movements. User experience designers are also resisting. Transparent timers, callback notifications instead of forced waiting, and first-come, first-served systems that reject the dual-class waiting hierarchy created by pay-to-skip services. All these approaches aim to dismantle the psychological toll of hidden waiting. Erlang dreamt up his formula to streamline unruly telephone switchboards. Years later, the RAF rediscovered these equations and tuned them for war, tracking fighter planes invading British airspace. Today, the same math rations your bandwidth, meters your deliveries, and prices your patience. The only thing that's really changed is the target. So, the next time a spinning circle asks you to wait, remember, you're standing in a line you can't see, built by numbers refined across a century, paying not with cash, but with the only currency you can't recoup: attention